This is part 2 of the lesson about false friends, which are Dutch words that sound English but are not English, and they also mean something completely different in Dutch. So it's confusing. Hallo lieve vrienden. So, just because it's so much fun, we'll learn some more false friends between English and Dutch. And it's really nice and really good to know them, because sometimes you will come into some confusing situations where you say an English word and the Dutch person you're talking to, they understand something completely different. Okay, first of all, if this content is valuable to you, please give it a like and subscribe so you won't miss a single lesson in the future. First one is the word beamer. So that is what we use in Dutch for projector. So if I want to give a presentation and I'm projecting something on the wall, then I can use a beamer, which is that device that projects light on the wall. While in English, it's just called a projector, right? And if you would say, do you have a beamer? People would think, if you have a BMW, right? Another word which is hilarious is the plural of pie. So I have a pie, I have two pies. That word, pies, if you pronounce it Dutch, it is pies, and that is urine. One time I saw a picture of a store that sold pies, right? So it was a Dutch store, and their tagline was in Dutch, right? So we sell pies. So they sold the original English version of the pies, right? So they wanted to keep the word pies, and the words before that were in Dutch. So it said, wij verkopen pies. We sell urine. All right, another English word is consequent. And in Dutch, it means something else than the English consequent, because consequently is like the result of something. And in Dutch, consequent means that you will do something regularly. So if you work out regularly, then you will be fit eventually. Als je consequent sport, word je uiteindelijk fit. And that's also the next false friend. Eventually, the English word, versus eventueel, the Dutch word. So the English word eventually means at some point or someday. It is sure, but you are not sure when, right? That is eventually. But in Dutch, the word eventueel means possibly. So one time I was watching a movie and the Dutch subtitles were incorrect, because the character said, we will catch the villain eventually. And the subtitle said, wij vangen de crimineel eventueel. So in English, it would mean they will catch him at some point. And the Dutch subtitle said, possibly we will catch him. So it's not sure. The English word actual versus the Dutch word actueel. Actual in English means it's a fact and it's true, right? And in Dutch, it means it's current. So this is a current event. Dit is een actuele gebeurtenis. If this is news that you heard that is really of today, then you will say het is actueel nieuws. And also the news is also sometimes called actualiteit. Another word is the English word leek versus Dutch leek. So a leek in English is a vegetable, right? But the Dutch word leek means a lay person, someone who doesn't understand anything about the subject. So if I would say, I don't understand this, I'm just a layman, then I would say, ik begrijp dit niet, ik ben slechts een leek. The verb sparring. So in the Dutch offices, you hear this often when you want to discuss something with a colleague, right? So you're going to toss out ideas and the other will respond to that, like brainstorming, right? So if you would say to someone, let's discuss this, let's brainstorm about this, in Dutch you can say, zullen we hierover sparren? That is, shall we spar about this? But sparring in English would mean something like fighting, right? So it's a bit more aggressive, while in Dutch we don't mean anything like something aggressive. It's just discussing. Another English word is pear. That is the Dutch fruit, a pear. So if you would say, have you talked to your peers? Then I would say, what do you mean? I don't talk to fruit, right? So in Dutch, this word becomes more common to talk to peers, especially in business. So if you pronounce it in English, it's usually understood by now. Another word that is phonetically the same, if in English you would say, do you have the paper? Then it's a sheet, right? A sheet of paper. Or the newspaper. And in Dutch, the word paper is pepper. Another nice example is the word drop, right? To drop something in English. Dutch word drop means the candy, licorice. And the Dutch love that, by the way. I love it. And I know that outside of the Netherlands, people are not that fond of it. All right. So another word is panty. So that's underpants, right, in English, but in Dutch it is pantyhose. So if you are someone who wears that kind of thing, you will say, when it's cold outside, I will wear my pantyhose under my skirt. In Dutch that is, wanneer het koud wordt buiten, dan draag ik mijn panty onder mijn rok. Also, a related word is slip, right? In English, it can mean like your salary slip. And in Dutch, it can only mean one thing, and that is underpants, a type of underpants. The word kill in English is to kill something or someone, right? In Dutch, kill means chilly, cold. It's chilly outside, het is kil buiten. You can also say, het is koud buiten, it's cold outside. Or, het is fris buiten. But you can also say, kil. And that is also used to say something about the atmosphere somewhere, right? So if, for instance, a room is decorated in all white stuff, like the floors, the walls, the furniture, everything is white, it can come across a bit sterile, right? And it doesn't feel cozy. So you can say, deze ruimte komt kil over. This room comes across very cold, right? That is kill. Also the word meaning versus the Dutch mening. So meaning means it means something, right? The meaning of a word. If you use the Dutch word mening, that is an opinion. I have an opinion about something. Ik heb een mening over iets. What is your opinion? Wat is jouw mening? The word rare versus the Dutch word raar. So rare means it's something that there are just a few of them existing, right? Like a rare painting. And the Dutch word raar is weird. Why you're acting so weird? Waarom doe je zo raar? An acorn versus eekhoorn in Dutch. So acorn is like the little nut that grows on an oak tree, right? But acorn is a squirrel. Then the word kind, which means friendly. The Dutch word kind, he is just a child. Hij is slechts een kind. A friendly child, een vriendelijk kind. The word ramp is in English like a steep surface, right? A tilted surface. While ramp in Dutch is a disaster. This is a disaster. Dit is een ramp. A natural disaster is een natuurramp. And the final word I wanted to give you is proof. So in English that means evidence, right? While in Dutch that is the verb proeven, tasting, right? So the English phrase, the proof is in the pudding, looks similar as proef de pudding in Dutch. That means taste the pudding. All right, now you know a lot more false friends between English and Dutch. Repeat them, keep practicing them, and I'll see you in the next lesson.